The Japanese police interrupt their own raid so that the suspects can come out and take their temperatures. The owner of a killer bear choked to death on a sex toy. And Kazakhstan adopts the Borat catchphrase, "Very nice," as the official tourism slogan. These are the weird stories for Wednesday on Weird AF News. This is the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian. I record in a closet and my name is JONESY. Japanese police interrupt their own raid so that the suspects can check their temperatures for the coronavirus. Police officers raiding a property in Japan were interrupted by a suspect checking the officers' temperatures to make sure that they don't have coronavirus. Because if you're going to be raided by the police, okay, you don't want to also get the COVID. It's one thing to get arrested by the police. It's another to get arrested by the police and catch COVID by the police. You can't assume all police officers are COVID free. They interact with the public all the time. You can't be too careful. This footage that went pretty viral, it shows one officer attempting to saw his way into the headquarters of the Chukakuha, which is a leftist group. Before the second officer can get his own saw working, a door opens and two men wearing protective masks exit. They appear to suggest that the officers could simply use the door to get inside if they'd like to come in. They didn't need to use their saws, in other words. But the representatives of the group don't let the officers in before checking their temperatures to ensure they don't have coronavirus. Hey, no need to break down the door, guys. We'll let you in, but hey, do you have the temperature? Let me check. Let me check before you come in here and try and arrest us. Guys, before we have a shootout, is everybody healthy? Just want to make sure. The police officers, of course, cooperated because they had to continue with their raid. Therefore, they needed to get into the building. So they lined up and they had COVID-19 thermometer guns aimed at their heads by presumably the criminals, and then they were allowed to enter. The media says the police were investigating this leftist group after their leader, Takeo Shimizu, gave a speech at a rally in Tokyo. It's understood that their leader, Takeo Shimizu, was inside this building at the time of the raid, which took place after his speech, which was his first public appearance in 50 years. Oh, they've been looking for this guy for 50 years. He's been hiding? Well, this explains why he had those officers checked for COVID. He's an elderly gentleman. He's got underlying health issues. It's very risky to allow police officers to raid your lair if they haven't been checked for COVID. I tell you, the gangs in Japan are so fascinating to me. I did a story about how the Yakuza have been giving out Halloween candy every year for the past however many years, but this year they were told, no, because of COVID, you can't give out any candy. Yakuza gang. And this group is like testing the officers for COVID before they raid their place. It just seems like a strange relationship that gangs in Japan have with not only the community, but with the local police as well. It's just so funny to me. It's like the police will bust in on a gang and they'll be like, hold on. Could you please take your shoes off, police officers? I know you're coming in to arrest all of us, but just please take your shoes off, okay? Have respect. Owner of a killer bear chokes to death on a sex toy. Yeah, that's the actual title of the story. An exotic animal owner who made headlines last summer when one of his bears mauled a woman to death has died after apparently choking on a sex toy. Yes, a sex toy. Choked on a sex toy. He's got a killer bear in the backyard. I can't believe this is real. Sam Mazzola. Hey, Sam Mazzola, age of 49, eh? Hey, Sam Mazzola, you know the guy with the killer bear that chokes on sex toys? That's the guy, eh? He was found dead in his Columbia Station home on Sunday. This is in Ohio. He was found face down on a waterbed. A waterbed? He still owns a waterbed? Sam Mazzola, he thinks it's 1972. Sam was bound to the bed with handcuffs, chains, and padlocks. My goodness. This is some sort of strange fetish going on. Some waterbed fantasy with chains and handcuffs and a sex toy down your throat. What is this man into, Sam Mazzola, you crazy person? Killer bears, padlocks, waterbeds, and sex toys in the face. Mazzola had a sex toy in his throat, it says, which apparently obstructed his breathing. He was also wearing a leather mask with the eyes and the mouth zipped shut and a tube. Bring out the gimp. Gimp's asleep. So he's got a leather mask. I shouldn't be laughing. The guy's dead. He's got a leather mask with the eyes and the mouth zipped shut and a two-piece metal sphere covering his head. I can't even put together in my mind what this looks like. There's no photo of him in the story. I mean, there's a photo of him, but it's a photo of him alive in his animal sanctuary. According to the police, all of this happened to Sam by his request. And there was also an assistant involved, but this is under investigation, police say. It appeared Mazzola died from an, quote, accident during sexual role play. An autopsy determined the preliminary cause of death was asphyxia due to airway obstruction by a foreign body. A foreign body! That's a nice way to put it. You mean a sex toy of some sort? Some large dildonic? Suicide and homicide have been ruled out. The manner of death is pending further investigation and will be released when the case is finalized. I tell you, if you're his family, you don't want it to be released. You don't want any of this information to make the light of day. If your dad dies this way, like, how embarrassing is that? So that's why, like, we all owe it to our own families to not die like this, because, you know, then there's so much explaining to do. The family's got to answer so many questions. Hey, what was your dad Sam doing in a gimp outfit? What was that? What is with the waterbed? I thought those things were extinct. What is with your dad and the zipper mouth leather face thing? What's going on? And how large was that dildonic that he choked on? What is going on? Did he pay for such things? You have to answer questions like that. That's why just go out normal, man. Just go out normal. Sam Mazzola has been in the news in the past because of his ownership and exhibitions of wild animals, which he kept on his property southwest of Cleveland. In August, one of his bears fatally mauled someone named Brent Condra, age 24, after Condra opened the bear's enclosure for a routine feeding. Oh boy. You know, these wild animal caretakers and whatnot, these tiger kings, I don't know what you call them. There's something wrong with these people. Really? I mean, I wouldn't say it if the data didn't prove it. There's just not one of them is normal. There's not a single normal person that owns wild animals in their backyard. It's just not a thing. I'm not just talking about the Tiger King, bro. Everybody else in that whole show was twisted. And so is this guy, Sammy Mazzola. I mean, I don't know how about you slice it. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. Kazakhstan adopts the Borat catchphrase, "Very nice," as the official tourism slogan. Years after condemning Borat for its depictions of Kazakhstan, the country's singing a different tune this year. There was a time when the government of Kazakhstan banned the movie Borat and threatened to sue its star, Sacha Baron Cohen, for his depictions of the country in his outrageous mockumentary, Borat. Those days are now over. Following the release of Borat's subsequent movie film, the sequel to Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make-Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, the Kazakhstan Tourism Board has officially adopted the character's "Very nice" catchphrase as its official slogan. A series of new ads were released over the weekend featuring visitors experiencing different aspects of the country of Kazakhstan, from the architecture and the beautiful landscape to the delicious food and wonderful culture, before repeating those two famous words. A description of the promos on YouTube reads, "How can you describe a place this surprising in just two words? As a wise man once said, it's very nice." Karet Sadvasvaskavoskabas, the deputy chairman of the Kazakhstan Tourism Board, told the media, "In COVID times, when tourism spending is on hold, it was good to see the country mentioned in the media. Not in the nicest way, but it's good to be out there, We love work with Cohen, or maybe even have him to film here, It's very nice. In light of this new development and the support from the actual country, Sacha Baron Cohen said in a statement, "This is a comedy, and the Kazakhstan in the film has nothing to do with the real Kazakhstan." I wish people would understand that. I chose Kazakhstan because it was a place that almost nobody in the United States knew anything about, which allowed us to create a very wild, a very comedic, and even a fake world. The real Kazakhstan is a beautiful country with a modern, very proud society. It's actually the opposite of what I portrayed in the Borat version. Oh, that's pretty fascinating. I always wondered why he chose Kazakhstan, of all places. And yeah, we don't know a lot about Kazakhstan. I actually thought it might be a fictional place the first time I saw the first Borat. I'm like, that's not a real place. He made it up, correct? Nope, turns out it's a real place. I like how they're embracing him too. Look you got to do what you can right now to get tourism flourishing in your country or your island or wherever or your amusement park, because during this pandemic, no one's going anywhere, really. So you got to do what you can. If it means embracing something like this, although, you should embrace this anyways. Have a sense of humor about it. The person's clearly not making fun of your country. It's a mockumentary anyways. So be reasonable. Realize it's just joking. I'm very biased because I'm a comedian, and I just can't stand when people don't get a joke. The ultra sensitivity of it. So it's nice to see they've turned over a new leaf. I can't tell if it's because they actually have come to their senses and appreciate the humor, or they really are desperate for tourism and they see an opportunity to sort of piggyback on the success of this movie and get people over to their country, which sounds like a wonderful place. I'm sure it's beautiful. I'm sure the food's amazing. I'm sure those women with the unibrows are just beautiful. I'm kidding. I'm sure they're wonderful. By the way I say unibrow, I've been told is incorrect, but that's just how I say it. It's unibrow. What do you say? Unibrow? Is it unibrow or unibrow? It's like unicycle, right? Or unicycle? Oh, man, I'm terrible. That's how we say it in Boston. We say unibrow. It's like, hey, Mark, your unibrow is wicked creepy. You gonna friggin' shave that or what? There you go. It's very nice. Yay! When you're listening to podcasts, it's Weird AF News. Hey, it's Jonesy, the host of Weird AF News. Someone sent me coffee, and I can't remember who it is. There's no name on the package. It is 4 5-ounce little miniature bags of beans from this, what looks like a great roastery called Dapper and Wise Roasters. I'm holding in my hand the Bonfire Blend, which has notes of chocolate, tobacco, and Merlot. This is some fancy-ass coffee that someone sent me, and I can't remember who the hell it is. So there was no name on it. If you're listening to this and you sent me some delicious, upscale, Dapper and Wise Roasters coffee, please reach out to me. You can email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram @funnyjones. I know I've spoken to the person, but I just there's a couple packages on the way from people, and I can't remember who sent what. So if you sent this to me, please reach out to me and let me know, because I really need to thank you big time. This stuff looks outstanding. I mean, this coffee looks like this shit is banging, as they say. I can't wait to get into this. So thank you. Yeah, not only can you buy me a cup of coffee off my website, which is weirdafnews.com, you could actually ask me for my address and mail me some coffee if you want to do that too. Some people have done that. So that's okay. I'm kind of, I gotta admit, I got a lot of coffee though. I got a lot of coffee. Just, we could hold up on the coffee for a couple of months. I don't need any more like bags of coffee, because between the amount of coffee I drink at work, and then when I go out to the local coffee shop, I'm drinking less and less coffee at home. So it's kind of piling up. But man, I appreciate this coffee, by the way. This stuff looks like tremendous upper level shit right here. I can't wait to get into it. Ooh, notes of chocolate, tobacco, and Merlot. Ooh, nutmeg, and the eyebrows of a peacock. That's how fancy this stuff is. Wow, I've really lost my mind, haven't I? Where is my mind? I want to thank you for listening to the show. I should probably do that 2.5 minutes into my outro. Please follow me on the Instagram, or the gram as they're calling it, at Funny Jones. I have another podcast that I released an episode of yesterday, if you're interested. It's called Free Your Effin' Mind. It's got a effin' in it. You see a theme here? Weird AF news. Free your effin' mind. Well, Free Your Effin' Mind, briefly, it's a little more serious than it's not as silly as Weird AF news. Jonesy gets pretty serious. I rip apart my culture, and I question I guess everything on there. So I did an episode about the election, and I explored the topic: why aren't we voting online or with our phones? What are the barriers to that? And so I did some research, and then created about a half an hour long podcast about it, so you can learn why, and why we should and why we're not, this kind of thing. So it's called Free Your Effin' Mind. Give it a shot. It's completely different from this, though. Just warning you. And there's there's probably about a dozen episodes of that. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, check out my Patreon. Oh, that's French for Patreon. patreon.com/weirdafnews. That's right, mofos. You can support the show by joining the Patreon, and you get extra content. Yep, good content. It's pretty good stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of weird stuff in there. You'd just be entertained for weeks and weeks and weeks. Extra entertainment, extra media, extra content. That's what I'm offering on the Patreon. Extra content, baby. Everybody can enjoy the extra content on the Patreon. Whether you support Trump, whether you support Biden, whether you support the spaghetti monster, whoever you support, you'll enjoy the Patreon and all the extra Weird AF content that's in there. So check it out. WeirdAFnews.com is another place you can go to join the Patreon. And lastly, if you'd like to call the show because you feel inspired by one of the stories and you want to rant about it, you can call 646-450-2012. Or you could just rant about the election if you want to do that. Have you lost your mind today? Call the show. Let me know.